How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, we all know who this is. This is Robert Mugabe. And a few short months ago, we all know by now that Mugabe had to step down. And it was many factors in it. And I agreed with it, but I don't agree about how they did it. Mugabe is in his 90s. And to my amazement, that's why we should never say never. I was so disgusted by what had went down in Zimbabwe, I just couldn't stomach doing a story. So anyway, my royal family, also what made me disgusted was, damn near immediately when one of them coons took that throne, they gave the white farmers their farms back, and they also gave them reparations. Yes, they did. And that's why I just been totally disgusted. And anyway, I have more to say later. Anyway, my royal family, let me show you this other picture. Let's see here. You see this white guy here? This is Roy Bennett. And when I was doing my research about Roy Bennett, Mugabe said that he was his biggest thorn in his side. And you see these coons that's around him? You see that lady right there? These are coons that's around him. Now, Bennett was born there, but he don't belong there. Keep that in mind. And anyway, my royal family, as I continue on, what I want the royal family to listen to is 2 videos. So we're going to start here first. Okay. This is our Queen's channel, Shayla. And I was like, wow. I said, this is a perfect time, because she's also new to making videos too and trying to get her channel built up, along with Vanguard, because I promoted his channel earlier today. And when she put this story up, Zimbabwe opposition leader, I wrote that out real quick, and Mugabe foe killed in crash. I was like, what? I was like, really? And so she read this article, my royal family, and also I want you to let you know, my royal family, I've never ever even heard of Roy Bennett. I think I did see him in a documentary. Now my memory is kicking in. I think I did, or it could have. They starting to all look alike, because I do remember watching a documentary, and it was some white farmer over there trying to get his farm back, and you had a bunch of them Africans over there supporting him. It could have been the same guy. Anyway, my royal family, let's listen to our Queen Shayla, and she does a stellar job in reporting this.
This is Shayla, and I'm back with another video. And this video is very significant. I didn't hear anything about it on the news. It's really not a big story on the Daily Mail as far as I can see, because I actually found it in the catacorners. So I don't know if anyone else has. I haven't saw any news footage on it, but the key former Zimbabwe opposition leader and Mugabe foe among 5 was killed in a Huey helicopter crash in New Mexico alongside his wife and an ex-Marine pilot. So I'm going to skip the highlights and go right into the article. Now, authorities in the United States state of New Mexico say key Zimbabwean opposition leader Roy Bennett has been killed in a helicopter crash. State Police Lieutenant Elizabeth Armijo confirmed Bennett's death Thursday, a day after a helicopter carrying him and 5 others went down in the mountainous rural area of northern New Mexico. Obert Gutu, spokesman for the MDCT opposition party, said the loss of Bennett, a white man who spoke fluent Shona and drew the wrath of former President Robert Mugabe, was tragic. Gutu says Bennett's wife, Heather, also died in the crash. The crash killed 5 and injured a 6th person above the helicopter, and it went down at 6 p.m. Wednesday near the Colorado state line. 6th person aboard and at 6 p.m. All these sixes, that's kind of strange. Authorities in the U.S. state of New Mexico say that Key Zimbabwean, no, he was European, he just lived in Zimbabwe, and this is him, Roy Bennett, who was killed in the helicopter crash. Here's another picture of him, and his wife was also with him, who was also killed. Armijo said no additional information was immediately available about the circumstances of the crash. Former Marine pilot Jamie Coleman Dodd, 57, of Trinidad, Colorado, co-pilot Paul Cobb, 67, of Conroe, Texas, Charles Raylan Bennett, 61, of Houston, were also killed, while the sole survivor was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Bennett was jailed twice under the Zimbabwe dictator, spent years campaigning against Mugabe. He was one of just 3 white parliamentarians elected in the Zimbabwean parliamentary election in 2000. With the movement of democratic change, its Vanguard party, despite intimidation by Mugabe's party, ZANU-PF supporters. During the election campaign, his wife Heather, then 3 months pregnant, was attacked by members of ZANU at home. She subsequently miscarried. Bennett later set to become the deputy minister of agriculture of Zimbabwe until Mugabe refused to swear him in. And he shouldn't have been. How about going to Europe and getting sworn in? This is just ridiculous. And this is one of the pilots that was aboard the chopper that went down. And this is the chopper that went down. Despite being white, he spoke fluent Shona and won a devoted following of black Zimbabweans who referred to him as a Puchindu, meaning one of us, for his stance as a strong advocating for political change. That's the first mistake. He is not one of us. He's not one of them. Why don't they understand that? He was most recently jailed in 2009 while trying to negotiate a power-sharing government. Don't you share or have enough power? That's the problem. To negotiate a power-sharing government. This is just disgusting. After he was released, he fled Zimbabwe amid fears of persecution, moving to South Africa. Why didn't he just move back to Europe? Why did he still want to live in Africa? Yeah, I know why. It is not clear yet why he and his wife were in New Mexico at the time of the crash. Former Zimbabwe government minister David Coulthard wrote on Facebook, "I have just confirmed from 3 separate reliable sources that Roy and Heather Bennett have been tragically killed in a helicopter accident in North America. I am devastated. They were 2 of Zimbabwe's greatest patriots. My condolences are extended to their family and friends." Dodd, a longtime helicopter pilot and aviation manager at Boyd Shooting Center, had been flying 5 passengers UH-1 Huey from Rotten to a ranch in New Mexico for his employer on Wednesday, according to Army buddy William Colon. The The former Marine corporal was flying over the mountains about 15 miles east of the small city of Rotten near the Colorado state line at around 6 p.m. when something went wrong. And of course, this is a picture of Mugabe. And so Albert Gutu, who's a spokesman for the MDCT opposition party, said that Bennett had drawn the wrath of former President Robert Mugabe. Big mistake. And here's a picture of him with his deceived, melanated people. And this is where the chopper went down right at the Colorado state line. Wow. He did manage to get a radio call off before going in, Conlon said, adding that 3 were killed instantly in the crash, while another 2, including Dodd, died en route to a hospital in Albuquerque. The sole survivor is said to have suffered serious injuries in the crash. Lieutenant Elizabeth Armajo of the New Mexico State Police said 6 people were aboard the chopper Wednesday evening when it went down in the mountainous area about 15 miles east of the small city of Rotten near the Colorado state line. She said that authorities currently have no further information about the victims or circumstances of the crash. The police agency posted Wednesday night on Twitter that response and rescue attempts were ongoing but slow. The Federal Aviation Administration spokesman Lynn Lunsford said the helicopter was a Huey UH-1. Information on its registration was not available, Lunsford said. And this is what the chopper looked like that went down. And that's one of the pilots. That's Colin, who was also killed. The National Transportation Safety Board will investigate the crash, and agency spokesman Eric Weiss, an NTSB investigator, was expected to arrive at the crash site late on Thursday. Huey helicopters are flown for individuals, businesses, and government agencies. Dodd of Trinidad, Colorado, was employed as an aviation manager, and Huey pilot at Boyer Shooting Center, which has locations in Katy and Houston, Texas. The pilot, who described himself as being separated on Facebook, was a former corporal in the U.S. Marines and had years of experience flying helicopters both in the military and as a civilian. After leaving the forces, he flew for the California Highway Patrol and both the California and Texas Army National Guards. He also worked for several private companies before taking the job at Boyer Shooting Center. Conlon, who served alongside Dodd in the 4th Aviation at Fort Carson, Colorado, said, "I'll miss my best friend that I've known for 31 years. Godspeed, JC, and RIP, bro." Okay, so you see, this goes to show you nobody gets away with anything. He had no business even being a politician in an African country. He had no business trying to negotiate power issues for an all-African country. It should be done, it's an African country, and it should be done by Africans. That is the problem. You want to control everything and everybody. But you won't be doing that anymore, will you? Okay, family, I just thought I thought I'd bring that news to you because I haven't heard anything about it on the news. So please like, share the video, and subscribe. And I'll see you good people on the next.
Okay, my royal family, our queen, Shayla, did an excellent job. She truly did. And believe it or not, but I wasn't checking my feed, I do have another video to show the royal family. It was mentioned. And I sub to a lot of the channels in Africa. And but I don't, you get, if you sub to a lot, you don't watch you know, we don't watch all the videos. And lo and behold, they did report it. And it says here, Zimbabwe, Roy Bennett and wife died in a helicopter crash. And before I play this video, my royal family, because he was so entrenched in politics and trying to rule and reign over everything, I know he played a part in getting Mugabe removed and making sure those white farmers get their farms back, and plus reparations. Their nature is the same wherever they is. They always want to rule and reign. I don't give a damn if he was born in Zimbabwe. He don't belong over there. Karma is a true bitch. It truly is, my royal family. So anyway, when you listen to this video, I'm just going to prepare you. Brace yourself with what you're about to hear. That's all I'm going to say.
From Zimbabwe tonight coming in about politician Roy Bennett. Reportedly, he and his wife Heather have died in a helicopter crash in Canada. The news has been confirmed by MDC Vice President Nelson Chamisa.
Roy Leslie Bennett was a Zimbabwean politician and former member of the British South African Police. He was also a member of the House of Assembly of Zimbabwe for the seat of Chimanimani, where he was affectionately known as Pachedu. And, you know, this is a man who fought the struggle. You know, once the authorities started cracking down on the opposition parties, he, alongside Morgan Tsvangirai, formed this MDC. He was part of that movement and was often jailed, was often beaten, and of course he was accused of plotting to kill the president and all sorts of things. So harassed perpetually, but a fascinating guy. And he could speak Shona like a Shona, I must tell you. I don't know if we can listen to this clip very quickly.
Ndopandiri kutaura kuti zvinhu zvachinja, vanhu vakutanga kuungana zvamutose vachiratidza zvido zvavo.
Matara zvababajukwa.
So essentially there, he was just basically saying that things have changed and that people were now starting to come forward and speak their truth. So as I said, in that government of national unity, he had a cabinet position there. But this is a man who was very, very popular amongst particularly the opposition. And so many will regard this as a very, very sad loss to Zimbabwe and the politic of Zimbabwe.
My own experience, a man very open to journalists from South Africa. We were getting that news when I was a young journalist about the oppression and very, very open. And he saw a change, and I wish we could have found out what he thought about that change in ZANU-PF leadership, but certainly some hope after that about human rights, about those claims of torture that had happened in the past.
Right. So the sad news there, Zimbabwean activist and former deputy minister has passed away, Roy Bennett, with his wife Heather. They've apparently died in a helicopter crash in Canada. And there's a few tweets that are coming through, and a former colleague, Tendai Biti, has sent a message, just learned of the tragic passing in Canada of Heather and Roy Pachedu Badze Bennett, with what a serious loss to mankind, what a blow to Charles and the rest of the family, what a blow to our struggle. I can't believe I will never speak to you again, Badze.
That is an emotional tweet. David Coulthard saying, my thoughts are particularly with Casey and Charles Bennett, Roy and Heather's children, who have suffered so much already because of their parents' brave struggle to bring democracy to Zimbabwe.
All right, my royal family, I didn't know if I was going to even make it hearing that sorry ass shit. Coons are the same wherever they is. It's coons all over the globe. I mean, I am astounded. I'm literally sick to the stomach hearing that soppy shit. I mean, what the hell is wrong with some of our folks? They just worship the enemy. They reduce themselves. This is, they 6,000 years is up. They're not getting it. You cannot tell me, you cannot tell me that how would I put it? That the things that they talk about in the Bible is not true. Also, even in the lost books, they want to, nail it down a little bit and stuff like that. Our Father, and I mean this and I say it often, when our Father say he gonna do something, he do it exact. And I mean, these cockazoids is getting it globally, literally globally. And he's trying to point out to them, I ain't started yet. Our Father ain't started yet. And they can't even take what's really about to go down. They already freaking out. And then this sucker has the audacity and the nerve to think he gonna run shit. And when I was doing my research, Mugabe did take his farm. He had a coffee farm. And that's why I was saying I know he played a part in making sure those white farmers got their farms back, and plus reparations. What the hell is wrong with us? So anyway, I truly agree with Mugabe. I see why he said he was his biggest thorn in his side. And this Roy Bennett was also pissed with Mugabe because Mugabe almost slipped and gave him a position. And Mugabe has a statement: the only white man I trust is a dead one. I read that a few weeks ago. I was like, wow. The only thing that's sad about the situation that did happen in Zimbabwe, and I know I said it a few times, is that where Mugabe got it messed up at was he was in office for 37 years. And what he should have done is day one, when those royal babies went to school, make it part of the curriculum that these white folks ain't gonna take over their country. And he could have set up with a big committee how they wanted to structure the royal family to think in that country and the things that they needed to do to not depend on anybody but their own selves. He should have had an army of Mugabe's after 37 years. So what that tells me is Mugabe did not trust the people around him. I fully understand what he was doing, but that's where he lost sight at, because he's getting older and he's in his 90s. You don't need to be working in your 90s. So that was the only mistake that I seen right there, because you can use propaganda, effective propaganda, in a healthy way. You really can, because it's when you use it in a healthy way, it's benefiting your country, it's benefiting the future. It's keeping it rich and nourished. That's the key right there. I'm all for that, where it's positive and everyone's on a high percentage level mindset. They in harmony with each other, and that also creates that energy too as well. You don't need everybody. It just got to be on a high percentage level. That's why I keep talking about the same thing, what we need to be doing with our energy. And it's very effective when we are, what I call it is, we have that shift in consciousness about what we need to do in order to win this war and continue to protect each other. And this system has been very great and good. They did a good job in creating so much doubt, so much hatred between each other, where we have become a group of separatists. But the time is up. And like I said, my royal family, I can't keep up. So much stuff is happening. It's happening lightning fast. Our Father is exact on what he said he was going to do. Really, this message is for the enemy. Pay attention. Like I said, the messages are right there in plain sight. I know some of y'all come to this channel and want to hear what we got to say. So since you over here listening, keep paying attention what's happening to your people, your rotten ass people, even the ones who claim they ain't racist and they just sit quietly and idly by and get along and go along and reap the benefits from this system. Those too will feel the wrath. Anyway, my royal family, I will put the link to our Queen's channel. Please join her. More new YouTubers is coming in, and this was a great introduction, and she did an excellent job. So anyway, my royal family, do what you always do. Render your voice with your beautiful and divine words. Anyway, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.